Well, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, we had one leave. Our first and best engineers left to start his own company, and it's actually doing better than Post is. I mean, it's doing really well. But yes, I was thinking about when you were saying that, those first people that we brought in to grow the company all were referrals from people we knew. One mentor we had said, I know this woman, she actually works in my company, she's fantastic, she needs to be in a smaller company where she can spread her wings, and we hire her, and she's still with us. She's changed her role multiple times. The engineer we hired out of CU, he's still with us. But those core people were not resume folks, and it was that way. So we were 3 founders. It was that way, till 8 or 9 people.
Certainly for us, I'm fortunate to say I've only had 1 people leave the company since we started it, and it's. I'll never forget the first interview that I had. We didn't have an office, literally, and it was just, let's go meet for lunch. Went through kind of some technical things that I was looking for in this person, and again, it goes back to that, does this person have the same type of spirit that I'm looking for in the company? Is it an entrepreneur, right? Because someone who's an early hire for you really has got to be someone who's willing to take some serious risk. Right? Let's face it, they're not someone who's going to be an engineer for IBM or a large healthcare corporation. They're looking for something that's different, right? And I think the key to that is understanding what that is. What is it that they're looking for? Fortunate, we have the same staff that we've had, and that helps build that culture out. In that case, after that first engineer, that's really when I realized that we were going to click. My next step was, I really need someone who's going to be in the quality assurance. And between the 2 of us, that's when we went through our bank of people that we've worked with, right? Again, trying to build like-minded people to build up that group.
We're about half and half. One of our interns, as we were going through Techstars, he was at Leeds, taking summer in between his MBA. He's our VP of sales. He's amazing. And 2 of the guys that were contracting with us were both in between big venture-backed companies that they had been with and been either co-founders or big leads in, and they were just helping us out, really, as contractors, as they transition, and that's our CTO and VP of engineering. So it's been huge for us. They kind of stuck with us through the mess, and now they're responsible for a lot of the tight processes that we have in place today.
Yeah, we've raised a lot of, so we always offer some sort of equity, but the amount, it goes down as you raise more money, just because that's the way it is. Yeah, I mean, we do, you mentioned it, unlimited time off. We pay 100% health care. We have a computer stipend, so we actually, Post doesn't have any of its own computers. We give every employee either $1,100 or $1,300 for their own computer, and for them to just keep, but they're required to bring it every day, but it's their own. And then it depends, it depends on the employee. Sometimes we'll buy, Epic passes for people, if that makes a difference. Like there's certain different types of swag and stuff.
Early on, it's hard. You're starting a company out, either you're doing it with your own funds, you're doing it with the friends and family, you're doing it with your angel investors, right? So it's kind of harder to have incredible offices, incredible hardware that they're going to be working with. So for us, it was the equity. And again, finding that like-minded person, that's what they're going to be looking for. Interestingly, though, and I don't know if this is a perk or if this is going back to the culture or values, I'm finding less and less people, certainly from the engineering staff, looking for equity now. They're more looking for a company that fits their mindset and where they want to be. But early on, what else do you have, right? You've got the equity to kind of entice them in.
Yeah, just to echo that, I've been surprised how few people care about the equity, and the people who do really care about it, are really into it, you can identify them and talk to them about it, but surprisingly small number. They want some, but they don't even, I would say, of the maybe 30 people that I know we've hired lately, like they don't even ask, we give them a number of shares. They don't even ask the price of the share, the percentage, like what that converts to, and they just sort of take it.
Early on, we would say things like, how much do you need to live on? Because that's how we started it off, and it was totally serious. And we did that, and now we've evolved into, we have tiers based on how where you lay in the company, and that tier is a salary plus an equity out of the employee pool. Then if we, I think we all do the same thing with unlimited PTO too. That's just been a core piece. I'm seeing more and more companies go to that. But really, I haven't seen anything related to the benefits or salary that drives interest. It's more like, is this a good fit, and are you psyched? So that's always kind of just a logistical thing,
Even within the first 5 or 10 days. Even within the first 5 or 10 days, there's not that much interest. I would think the guys who are going to be
In the equity?
right. No,
For me, it was
I think
certainly,
the more senior and the more early, the more interest in equity.
just with the big hires in general, what are some of those key things that you're really looking for that make those guys stand out from the rest of the crowd? Especially also on non-technical. You understand the question?
Yeah, I was less familiar with the sales side of the business coming in Compose, and so when we started hiring expensive salespeople, there was sort of a gulp moment, like, really? But we tied it to performance. Saying, here, let's lay out a year. We've got a big salary for that year, half salary, half bonus, but the bonus is tied to that big number, that gulp. If you hit that, I will be ecstatic. And you just go from there, and then maybe you hit it.
So, if I'm understanding your question, I'd say it's what is it that you're looking for in that? What are some of the
Those are big decisions. Those goal decisions are big ones. You want to make the right ones. So I'm asking, what are some of those key things you're looking for?
is
Help you identify that that's the right job.
certainly in the non-technical role, when I'm looking at either other executive staff to join us, or we really need to be a big win in biz dev or something of this, I'm looking at past success and touch points. And it doesn't mean they have to hit a home run in what they did before. In fact, if they did hit a home run, they're probably not looking for a job. They're playing golf. But it's past success. I rely heavily on VC. So with that, they've got a big network. So people coming in, generally somebody knows who this person is and what they've been doing. So we really kind of rely on that, and going through our VC, helping us, they're partners with us, and helping find what the impact this person had on the previous companies, positive and negative.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. For the big roles, we thought for sales, marketing, because we said, what do we want their past to look like? So when we hired a salesperson, we said we want this person to be a sales leader who have hired a team of X number of people in this category and done well. And so we thought about those requirements prior to meeting them, and then how many people hit that criteria. And we actually went and you can just comb LinkedIn and say, who are the people that look like that? Go find them, and then we stalked them down.
For us, all of our executive team is very deeply embedded in our own networks. So we're very known quantities, with one exception. Our COO and our previous COO left to start a new company and brought this guy in before he left. So he brought in his own replacements. It's a real strong cultural thing there that we have.
We'll get to your question. I think is going to be the last one because we're getting short on time. Question was, a lot of people couldn't show up to interviews with their so-called interview face on, game face. How do you really vet out who's full of shit and who's not?
The test, you know, it's hard to BS through the test. I mean, because they're presenting, there's questions from it, you know, they're nervous, they're on their heels, and you can, you know, dig into why did you do that? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? I mean, those answers can't be superficial, and that you can't necessarily practice them. Either they know their stuff or they don't, and that's why I think the test works so well.
It's certainly from the technical side of the house, yeah, the tests and the technical directions of that. Where it gets kind of ugly is in the sales roles that you hire. Because let's face it, they're salespeople, right? They're good at selling, and they're good at selling themselves. And in fact, I think this is my 5th startup, and I think of all of the startups I've been in, the most challenging one to hire is in the sales side of things. Unfortunately, getting them out of the game face in that role, it's pretty much impossible. What you're going to find out, though, is very quickly if everything they've been telling you is true or not, right? And that's where it goes back to that hire and fire fast. You're in a startup. You don't have time. You have a short runway. You've got venture capital or friends and family that's backing you. Make that decision quickly. So go with your gut. And I also like to take people out to dinner. And just spend a couple hours outside of the interview room and just talk, get a feel for them that way.
You know, one more thing I'll mention is there's just so many tools like Refresh app and things like that that you know exactly about everyone's social, identity as they walk in the room. So, you know, maybe they have a great resume or whatever they've been brought in front of you, but one thing I always look for is this thought leadership, and are the things that they're saying socially and in the public matching the types of things they're saying, in the room together, and usually they are, and those have been successful for us.
That's all pretty valid. All pretty valid stuff. Well, thank you everybody for attending. I want to take the time to thank Ping Identity for hosting us here. Thank all the sponsors of Denver Startup Week. Without the sponsorship, we would not be able to hold these events. And thank you for coming. It's important that you guys come, continue to grow your business and learn from other people. And Denver Startup Week is getting bigger and bigger, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. Got a long road. So thanks again, and if there's anything we can ever do to help you, let us know. We're here to help. Thanks.